Hi there, survivors, and welcome to another episode of the Story of One Arc series. We have completed all the easier dungeons on the island, and now it's time to deal with the first of the last three caves I would call a purgatory. This is the Snow Cave. From the first day when you woke up naked on the beach to the moment when you dare to step into this cave, some time will pass and you will probably be an experienced survivor, well geared and hardened by many battles, as this place is hard and really unforgiving. Well, and that's where our survivor and Otto, the other, are headed now. This cave can be found in the snowy region of the island, at a river bend where two zones meet. You can easily distinguish the area. It is right between the volcano where the tech cave is and the blue obelisk. There is a lot of icebergs floating in the water right underneath it. The entrance itself is sort of a hollow iceberg. You should be able to fly into it with a tapejara, for instance. In terms of preparation for this cave, you will need to have decent armor. Also, shield is more than recommended. And as the temperatures inside here are really deep and will be able to cost you your health over time, it is great to use the Otter for their thermal insulation abilities, and also the Friar Kari. In regards to the needed gear, I would say that this cave can be really easily done with just some metal spikes. It is also good to pack a couple of grenades. That's for the Purlovias. And all you will need for this to be complete is a tamed creature. I would recommend using a Rex in a Cryopod. If you manage to get something that has at least 20,000 health and about 1,000 in melee, you should be fine. The key to doing this dungeon are the spikes in combination with the Rex. You will want to place them at the choke points. And also you can use them on other places in order to prevent your Rex from taking damage at all, while due to its size still be able to attack. You will mostly face direwolves, the polar bears and yetis, but also the most annoying Purlovias. The wolves are, well, not dangerous, and generally you do not really need to care about these. The bears have quite a high health and also can do a lot of damage. The Yeti are quite annoying as they can knock back. But worst of all is the Purlovia, as when buried underground, they can sort of attack, do their pounce, and stun you for quite a long time. This can be deadly if you are left unprotected, but since you are able to lure it out from its hiding with grenades, you should be able to deal with them safely. I also recommend bringing some fiber with you, as you can easily harvest hide from creatures and, well, craft sleeping bags on the run. You will want to place these at the entrance in order to, in the worst case that you will die, you will be able to respawn inside the cave. Once you clear the main room, you can move on. You will want to go forward. There is a chance that there will be a loot drop on the left if you follow the water, but, well, there is a large drop, and what you want to avoid the most are that drops. You do not want your Rex to lose health that way. Once you get past this first tight spot around this pillar, you will want to rush down and to the left. When you cross the water, there will be another tunnel. You can ignore the creatures here and fight them off only after you get through the tunnel. As the Rex is quite fast, majority of them will leave you alone. You can just deal with any stragglers that will come at you. And now you have another room ahead of you. There are some small islands with water between them. You will want to let your stamina regenerate, as you do not want your Rex to run out of it when you are running from the creatures. The way onwards is at the end of that ledge on the left side. You will want to go around the right wall. Just ignore the creatures and pass them. Majority of them should come after you, but your goal is to lead them off the ledge, so they will not be able to attack you. Be careful about the Yetis in particular, as they can knock you off the edge. In the best case, you will not have to go down again, and you simply place one spiked wall as a choke point on the ledge next to the entrance. This way no mad surprises can come at you. There will be some crystals. I recommend breaking them for easier access. And, well, you are in a second safe spot. This tunnel ahead should not be occupied by any creatures. At least I haven't seen any here. You will be able to move the Rex about halfway through it, to a point near the turn where he will get stuck. You do not want to put it into a Cryopod yet, as there is usually quite a lot of creature right behind the turn. There is another choke point where you can place the spikes and lure any creatures at it. They will not be able to break it or pass through it, and not even Perlevias should be able to jump over. When you are safe like this, you can easily put the Rex back into a Cryopod and move him past the tight spot. Here you can simply continue by killing the creatures over the spikes. It also might not be a bad idea to place the sleeping bags into this area as well, so you can respawn closer to your last location. You should place them a little further down, away from where the creatures spawn. I usually place 2 because when you use it to respawn, it will break or disappear. You could also leave some of the resources there in a chest, but well, I've done this a couple of times, and this way it's not that difficult, so you should have only little troubles going through this cave. When you have the spikes in the choke point, you can break it in order to be able to move on, or if you are using the S+ mode like we are, you can pick it up with the demo tool. Make sure that the area is clear. Here we have some unwanted bear, as you will need to break some of these crystals in order for the Rex to pass. Just deal with any creatures by killing them with the Rex or shooting them down. Also, you can do the Perlovia check, because sometimes when you are riding a Rex, they will not attack. So what you can do is double press E to quickly dismount and mount again, which should be enough to get their attention. You may have to wiggle your Rex from one side to another to get through these narrow paths. Just be prepared to hide behind your shield and to get back on the Rex again. Once you get through this area, you will enter another room with a drop. So kill any creatures that you have near you. The Rex attacks have also a knockback, so you should be able to keep the creatures away from you and from attacking, and prevent any damage happening to the Rex. This area, well, you can rush through it, as the Rex can easily outrun any of these on a open area. And very close past these narrow crystal valleys is another choke point, where large crystals will be blocking the path. Your Rex should be able to get over it, whereas the creatures will not. Now you are entering another section. A good strategy when facing a large amount of creatures is to place the metal spikes in front of you, as most of the creatures will get stuck on it and will not be able to reach you. Even a big creature as a Rex can get swarmed if there are too many, especially the combination of Yetis, which do the knockback, and bears, which deal quite high damage, can be dangerous even for a large creature like this. You just simply hide behind the spikes and kill anything that's near you. You can also dismount for a second to gain attention of more creatures, or also, if the creatures are further away, you can use firearms to lure them to you. Be careful about the Purlovia mounts. You will want to use explosives to lure them out of their hiding. This will deny their pounce. Also, quite a great benefit of Rex is that you are high above the ground, and if the Purlovias are below you, they will not be able to stun you, which is one of the most dangerous things that can happen. You might have also noticed that I've set the Rex on passive, because at the moment you get stunned by Purlovia, you will be dismounted. The benefit of Rex is that when dismounted you are not going to fall to the ground unless there is a ceiling right above you, and you will stay in the saddle. So even when stunned, you should be able to stay safely on the Rex, and when it's set to passive, it will not start to run around. Usually at this point I have to renew the consumables, the fry curry, and I'm also using the enduro stew to regenerate some stamina. Once you clear this room, you will want to continue further down along the path. Keep the Rex's head tilted upwards in order to better protect yourself from the Purlovias. You will soon come to a water. This is another dangerous choke point, well, right past it. So clear the area from any hostile creatures, and you will want to dismount. First, make sure that there are no surprises. Use the shield to hide if necessary, and there will be a large amount of creatures further on in a low ceiling zone. You will want to shoot at them from distance in order to lure them to you. You can again use the spike method, but the water is slowing them down, so if you push them down towards the water, they will not be able to get to you. And you can just, well, bite them all to your satisfaction. Kill anything that came to you and check if the air is clear. Here I can see that there are some Purlovias burrowed at the end of the pathway. This place can be especially dangerous if you do not clear it first, because the Yetis can knock you off to the water on the right side, which is quite deep, and you will not be able to get your Rex out other way than with a Cryopod. But it can be dangerous if you are being attacked. There is another narrow choke point. You will need to use the Cryopod again, but first it's a good idea to clear the area from the Purlovias. You are on a Rex and the ceiling here is low, so it is not recommended to do the quick dismount because you will most likely go down to the ground and the Purlovias might already be leaping at you. It is better to lure them from distance using explosives again. For moments like this, make sure you are carrying enough grenades on your person. If any creatures drop down to the water, you should not worry about them, they will not be able to get out. If you get more creatures in this tunnel on the left, it is also a good idea to place the spike wall there, especially if there are Yetis, as they could easily knock you down into the water. Best way to do this is to move your Rex as far as it will go. You see that it is not a good idea to go forward just on your foot. And while using shield, place another spike wall a little further ahead. You can see that we are already entering the artifact room. So as far as these crystals are is good, because the creatures will not be able to get to you. It is also a good idea to wait a couple of seconds before putting the Rex into it, to make sure that nothing gets through. Then you simply just place it a little further up the slope and, well, use the spikes to kill off any creatures in this room. You can easily lure them onto you by dismounting and also by shooting. Any Purlovias here can be lured using the grenades. With this tactic, you can see that we have reached the artifact room while losing only about 9,000 health. The good thing about this method is that it is doable even with lower level Rex. For instance, 160. It will just take longer to clear the choke points. As the Purlovias are up on the slope, I also prefer to lure them out. This was a close one, but as it's just a single Purlovia with good armor and full health, you should not be in grave danger. Now all that's left is to, well, collect the artifact. Using shield is helpful to reduce the incoming damage, but here the area is safe, so I can, well, simply loot the artifact of the strong, and all that is left now to do is to, well, retrace your steps back to the entrance. As you have cleared majority of the way, and also there are some safe spots already. You should be able to get out by only using the Cryopod twice. First is here, right as you exit the artifact room. At this point you can also explore the cave a little bit. There are a couple of loot crates here that you might want to collect. By using the spike and Rex tactic, you should be able to deal with practically anything that's in here. You can simply rush the areas where you have left any creatures alive. But if you want, you can play it safe and use the spikes to, well, block their attacks. For me, the Rex has high enough health, so I do not really need to worry about it getting swarmed. This is one of the tighter spots, so you need to try to move from side to side in order to get into that spot where it can move through. It can be a little annoying at times, but it's much safer than dismounting when it's not necessary. Here you are reaching the second Cryopod spot, so just put the Rex in it and you should be safe to move it all the way down to the lower room. There shouldn't be any creatures here, but again, if you are a cautious person, you can also let it out just past the choke point and walk out on your Rex. Next you will want to get out of water here. As you may have noticed, the water here is a freezing cold, so it will hurt you and creatures. Here you can see one of the loot crates, but well, I don't really care for it at this moment. You can simply use the aforementioned method in order to get further. I will just clear this area as it's really tight and Yetis are annoying with their knockbacks. You can also heal your Rex by force feeding them meat. Again, when placing the spikes in a very tight spot, in order to pass through you will probably have to break them, unless you are using the S+, but well, that's no trouble. If you bring with yourself something like 10 spikes, it should be more than enough for this entire dungeon. As you exit this tunnel, you will want to go just straight forward and up the slope. When there are no other creatures attacking, the wolves and Purlovias tend to ignore you. At the moment you get to the entrance past the first barrier, there is, well, nothing that can stop you. If there are any creatures respawning, you can also deal with them. But it should be safe to dismount, pack up your Rex, and head out with the Artifact of the Strong in your inventory. So, that's first of the last 3 caves conquered. You can see that it is not that difficult. The most important tools for this cave are the grenades for Purlovias, spikes to make the choke points and to give your Rex some breathing space, of course a decent level Rex, and some ranged weapon. You will deal most damage with your creatures, so it is only used to lure creatures that are further away from you. And generally you can just follow the strategy that I have outlined with the safe spots, and it should be doable quite easily in 30 to 45 minutes. Well, and that's it. Hope you've enjoyed this ARC video. Feel free to leave a comment or a like. Also, click on the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on more Ark Survival Evolved fun. Thank you for watching, and see you next time!